The live-action Snow White adaptation is going to be a major disaster for Disney, and it seems that they finally come to that conclusion because they're scaling back the Snow White Hollywood premiere. We know that they have completely canceled the UK one, and now she is being savaged on social media and compared to Lord Farquaad. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, listen, I understand that sometimes when you adapt something from an animated to a live action, things are not going to always translate the best. But the fact that they thought that this was a good idea, you are not telling me that nobody, a part of the production, noticed this. That nobody said to themselves, doesn't this look similar to another character in media that everybody hates? And it's just so fitting that this is how Rachel Zegler is going to end the movie looking, right? Because this is very clearly like a wedding scene. It's very clearly going to be her spinning around, singing, saying her goodbyes to the audience. It's supposed to be the most charming moment of the movie. Like, she finally won. She got what she wanted, and she's looking like Lord Farquaad. But while she is being savaged online by moviegoers who are just saying, this looks terrible, we now can see that Disney's panic is kind of in full scale because Disney is now no longer going ahead with these major plans that they once had. So Disney is hosting a Hollywood premiere of Snow White on March 15th, but the studio won't be rolling out a robust red carpet like it usually does. Just a couple of days ago, I had reported in another video that they canceled the UK premiere, which seemed pretty bizarre because usually it comes down to like Japan, the UK, and the US are the Hollywood premieres that are kind of the biggest, and the Japan one did pretty good from what we saw. I mean, everyone was talking about it. Rachel Zegler didn't make any controversial statements, so I guess a win's a win for Disney, but then the UK one got canceled, which was pretty crazy, and now we're finding out that even the Hollywood one is being scaled back. You would think that this would be the biggest out of all of them, but it doesn't appear that that's the case. So this afternoon's festivities will include a pre-party and a screening at the El Capitan Theater with the star Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, expected to attend. However, the red carpet will not include the dozens of media outlets usually invited by Disney to interview the cast and creatives at its premieres. This is 100% without a shadow of a doubt because of Rachel Zegler and Gal's relationship. So for the past couple of years, Rachel Zegler has obviously went into a lot of bad interviews. She said a lot of bad things, and she has made a lot of people hate her and really decide to boycott this movie. But I think that with her new PR team, they could have probably gotten past that fear because that PR team has really told her to be careful with her words. But I think now they're facing an issue with Gal and Rachel's relationship because just a few days ago, there was the video from the Oscars that was circulating where the two were walking side by side, and it was very clear that like Gal was leaning away from Rachel and Rachel was kind of acting like a strong, independent woman, and she was just kind of stomping along. And it was clear that those two were not on the friendliest of terms that maybe they were a couple of years ago when they started working together. And I think that they just recognized the fact that this relationship is not a good, positive working one, and they probably don't want to have to interact with each other more than they actually have to. And so now they've decided the coverage will be limited to photographers and a house crew, which Disney, typically does not do, especially for these larger live action adaptations, because this is how they expect the future of their business to look, right? They've done Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast. They did Maleficent, which was sort of kind of Sleeping Beauty. It was a bit different, but we'll just say Sleeping Beauty. We had Aladdin, we've had Mulan, The Little Mermaid, and now, of course, we have Snow White. So they still have quite a few that they could do, though maybe they're just coming to the realization that the actresses that they're hiring are just causing them a lot more headache. Plus, we do know that they did end up delaying this. And maybe that's why all of these plans got moved around, but we're talking about Disney here. They're worth billions and billions of dollars. If they really wanted to host a big red carpet event, they most certainly would, and now they're not. Some toxic Disney fans, this article says, that's you guys, question Snow White being played by Zegler when her casting was announced because she is a Latina actor. The West Side Story star also faced backlash when she called the 1937 original dated because the prince literally stalked Snow White. I love how even Variety boils it down to, oh, well, some toxic Disney fans question her being played by Zegler. Yes, we did, because she's called Snow White and she has looked a certain way in the past. And you could have just made a brand new princess that would have fit Rachel Zegler's description. But did you? No, you decided to race swap because ultimately Disney said to themselves, no, 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 diversity is what is most important. She's not even the same type of singer as Snow White, and she really doesn't have that same, like, very overtly feminine essence. And Rachel Zegler went into it wanting to change the story around and wanting to kind of tone back the romance. It's just a disaster all around. But guys, it's our fault that this all happened. We are the toxic ones. Then it goes on to talk about Peter Dinklage and how he spoke out about the movie's portrayal of little people for perpetuating negative stereotypes. So, what was the solution? Taking away jobs from 7 smaller individual or little people and replacing them with CGI. Yeah, but guys, because that's definitely the smartest move. It's just erasing these types of people from media completely. It is insane that this happened. And of course, recently, Rachel Zegler completely walked back on all of this. She actually said that the backlash was due to the passion from fans from the original film. And well, I wonder if she's feeling the passion now that she is being laughed at for being put into Lord Farquaad's outfit. It's just terrible what Disney has done with this movie, from the disrespect to fans to even the disrespect of their lead actors, because you are not going to convince me that this wasn't intentional in some way, shape, or form, because they could have done a Cinderella, right? Where at the end of Cinderella, she's in a completely different dress from her iconic, very like blue princess dress. They put her in something that looked a little bit more modern with all of the like pretty flowers and the pops of color. So they, in the past, have not followed the silhouette from the princess's main dress to their wedding dress. Same with Beauty and the Beast and also Aladdin, actually. The end dresses were different products, but with this, they just got so lazy. It's like they spray painted it white. So it just kind of goes to show that these people didn't care, and maybe this was intentional, but everybody's pointing and laughing, saying, wow, no way, that's not Snow White, that's my sister. And then the Shrek memes, which is just too funny. So of course, we still have about a week before Snow White releases, and I will be keeping my eye on the news, but it just seems that Disney has come to the realization that this movie is probably going to be an epic failure for them. And while they're trying to damage control by doing less of these premieres and scaling them back amid these Zegler and Gal controversies, I just don't think that there's any way that this is going to be massively successful for them. And I think that they just have finally said to themselves, okay, it's time to stop pumping money into a movie that's most likely going to make none back. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.